Okay. So the analysis which considers only the external forces acting on the members of the system, it will not consider any inertial forces here. In the static force analysis, will be only studying about the external forces acting on the members. Okay. Then the applied force acting on any one member will produce a certain forces on the other members also, and these forces will not remain constant. They change as the configuration changes. For the sake of analysis, these forces are assumed to be constant for a particular configuration, and hence for a particular configuration the machine is considered to be a system of rigid bodies in equilibrium acted upon by the external forces. So this leads to a condition of statics, and this is analysis which is done on this is known as the static force analysis. Okay. So here in the static force analysis we will be considering only about the static forces. Okay. So force analysis will be easier if the concept of free body diagram is adopted in this type of considerations. Okay. So free body diagram, what is free body diagram? A free body diagram is nothing but a sketch of a body isolated from its surroundings or from the connected members upon which the forces and moments are shown in action. Okay. So you can draw the free body diagram. Then let us understand what is equilibrium. So equilibrium is nothing but a body or a group of bodies is said to be in equilibrium if all the forces are exerted on the system are in balance. Okay. So you have seen in equilibrium condition what happens? The system is completely balanced. When the summation of all the forces are equal to 0, then you tell it the system or a body of a group of members is under balance condition, or it is in equilibrium condition. Okay. There are two types of, again, in a type of equilibrium conditions, that is static or dynamic. Okay. So in static equilibrium, if the forces acting on a body or system keep it at rest, then the system is said to be in a static equilibrium. Okay. So here what will happen? The forces acting on a body, it will be kept it as a rest. Okay. Only static forces will be considered. So this is known as the static equilibrium condition. And in dynamic equilibrium condition, what will happen? If the forces acting on a system or a body which is under motion and remain balanced, then the system is said to be dynamic equilibrium. So in dynamic equilibrium also the system will be balanced, but it will be under motion. Okay. The forces will be having the motion. So a complete, just one force is given, static force, it is only having static condition. When there is a type of dynamic considerations, motion is there, it becomes under the dynamic consideration. Okay. So let us see what are the things in static equilibrium first. So a body is in static equilibrium if it remains in its state of rest or motion. So if the body is at rest, it tends to remain at rest, and if in motion, it tends to keep in motion. So you know these things. So in static equilibrium what will happen? The two conditions are given here. So the vector sum of all the forces acting on the body is 0. That is summation of F should be equal to 0. So summation of all the forces should be equal to 0. So that will be the first condition. And the vector sum of all the moments, okay, all the moments about any arbitrary point is also 0. Okay. So we have shown it by summation of forces also will be 0, and summation of torque also will be 0 in this case. Okay. So this is regarding the equilibrium conditions. Then if a planar system forces can be described by two dimensional vectors, then that time if there are two directions you will be getting like fx equal to 0, then summation of Fi also equal to 0, and then the torsion which is considered, that is the torque which is considered, torque, that will also be equal to 0. Okay. Next we will see the equilibrium of 2 and 3 force members. Okay. So in this figure you can see a member is under the action of two forces. Okay. So in that what will happen? A force F1 is coming on there on the top side, you can see at the point A, and F2 is coming on that point B, and the forces are of same magnitude. Okay, the forces are of same magnitude, and the forces act along the same line, you can see there, and the forces are in opposite direction. You can see the direction is opposite. F1 is coming from that left to right side, whereas the F2 is coming from right to left. So the directions are opposite, but it is equal in magnitude and it is having a same straight line. So in this case, you can see there F1 is equal to F2, as in the equal in magnitude, but the direction is opposite. Okay, so same way, if a member under the action of three forces will be in equilibrium, in that case the resultant of the forces should be 0, and the line of action of the forces intersecting at a point, that is known as point of concurrency, that also should be considered. So this is for the three force members. You can see in this figure now, figure A, what will happen, there are three forces now, F1, F2, F3. So F1 at point A, then F2 at point B, and F3 at point C. So you can see at the point O there is an intersection there, and in this what will happen, you can see the figure A, so shows a member acted upon by three forces, that is F1, F2 and F3, and is in equilibrium as the lines of action of forces intersect at one point O, and the resultant is nothing but 0. So how can you verify this? So this is verified by figure B, you can see. So as the head of the last vector F3 that meets the tail of the first vector F1, so the resultant is 0. So you know these things. Okay, so starting from F1 the direction is there, so same F1, F2, F3 directions you match it, and it is forming the entire loop. Okay, so the resultant is 0, starting point and end point is same. So what will happen, automatically you will be getting the resultant 0. So it is in balanced condition, or it is in equilibrium condition. Okay, now whereas you can see the figure number D now. So figure D shows a case where the magnitude and direction of the forces are the same as before, but the line of action of the forces do not intersect at one point. You can see that F1 is coming there, F2 is coming there, but F3 is coming here from this, and it is not going to intersect. So this thus the member is not in equilibrium. So in figure D you can see this is not the case of equilibrium condition. It is not in equilibrium because it is not getting the intersection point. Now consider a member in equilibrium in which the force F1 is completely known, and F2 known in direction only, and F3 completely unknown. Okay, so F3 is completely unknown, F1 only you know only completely known, and F2 you know only by the direction. So can you solve this? That you will see now. So the point of applications of F1, F2 and F3 are A, B and C respectively. You can see as the figure there, figure A. And to solve such a problem, first find the point of concurrency, that is point O, from the two forces with the known direction, that is from F1 and F2. Okay, now joining O with C gives the line of action of the third force, that is F3. Okay, now to know the magnitude of the forces F2 and F3, take a vector of proper magnitude and direction to represent the force F1. So from its two ends, draw lines parallel to the lines of action of the forces F2 and F3, forming a force triangle. They can see in this figure, and mark the arrowheads on F2 and F3 so that F1, F2, F3 are in the same order. Okay, either you can follow this B figure, so you can start from F1 here, F1 direction is same here in the figure B, then F1 followed by F2, you know the direction, you can draw a straight line, and then F3 you know just the direction, just you can, if you take the vector, automatically that intersection you can see F1, F2, F3 forming the closed loop. Okay, similarly for figure C also, both are nothing but you are getting same thing. Okay, so this is in equilibrium condition. To check this you can use. Next case we will see a member with two force and a torque. Okay, so your force is also there and a torque is also there. So a member under the action of two forces and an applied torque will be in equilibrium if, again we have to satisfy these two conditions, that is that the forces are equal in magnitude, parallel in direction and opposite in sense. You can see here the figure F1 and F2, the forces are equal in magnitude, then they are parallel in direction also, and but is opposite in direction, opposite in sense, because you can see F1 is here different direction and F2 is the opposite direction. Okay. Then the forces form a couple which is equal and opposite to the applied torque. So you can see there in the figure also the torque is applied there, T. Okay, the forces form a couple which is equal and opposite to the applied torque. Okay. So now figure shows a member that is acted upon by two forces F1 and F2 there and applied torque T. So if you want to get the equation to get this, what will get the moment, same thing. So it is nothing but you can calculate by force into the total distance, that is from F1 to F2, you can see. So T will be equal to either F1 into H or it is equal to F2 into H. Okay, where T, F1 and F2 are the nothing but the magnitudes of T, F1 and F2 respectively. So we are using only the magnitudes, and T is clockwise, whereas the couple formed by F1 and F2 it is counterclockwise. Okay, so this is the consideration. Next, now we will see for the entire mechanism. Now if the problem is like this, how we can get the line of action and how to get the forces and all. So before we solve the problems, let us understand first the basic things. Okay, so what I am telling today is completely basic things. You just go through this what I am telling. Okay, so force convention. So you can see the force exerted by the member I on member J is actually represented by Fij. Okay, if you getting from link 1 to 2, we consider as F12. Then if you consider from link 2 to 3, we consider it as F23. If you consider from 3 to 4, we consider it as F34. Or if you consider back from 4 to 3, we consider F43 or vice versa. Okay, so like that, in connection between two links, we consider that as whatever forces been exerted there. Okay, now first just see the figure A. Okay, that again will I'll explain this how to get this. So you can see the figure A. Automatically this is a mechanism. So it is a 4-bar mechanism. You can see. So at its hinge points, you can get a link which is matched with link 1, and then A to B you can see the link 2, B to C there is link 3, and C to D link 4. So 4 links are there. This is a 4-link mechanism or a 4-bar mechanism. Okay. Then a torque is applied at a link 2 and a force is applied at link 4. Okay. Now if you draw a free body diagram for these three. Okay. So always the first step, after drawing a mechanism, you need to first draw the free body diagram. So in this also, now let us draw the free body diagram for the whatever links are available. So one is completely fixed, so that is okay. Now, so in second link, so go to now figure number B there. So figure B is a free body diagram only for the link 2. Okay, so you have to split it. So for each link you have to give a free body diagram like this. Okay, so now you can see AB. So AB is a link 2. Then just draw A to B. Then torque is applied here, and the length is nothing but here, the length given as H here, and then the force will be getting as F12, that is comes from 1 to 2, and here 1 to force will be there, and coming from the forces from the BC, the link, that is third link, that will be 32, okay, F32 coming from that side. So you can give FBD like this. Similarly, now consider the third link there, that is BC. So BC you can see F23 coming from 2 to 3, the direction is shown here, and then similarly at point C 4 to 3 is coming. So let us treat as 4 3. Okay, and similarly the last one D figure, you can see the D is link that is C to D, is having the link 4. So this is also drawn CD, and then the force is applied over here. Okay, so that force again we are taking just a line of action, that is LOA given by this. So there we will be getting F34 and then F14. So how to draw this F14 and F34, that we will see. Okay, so first actually for all the problems, the first step is to draw the free body diagram only. Okay, so just now we discussed what the free body diagram is, a sketch or diagram of a part isolated from the mechanism in order to determine the nature of forces acting on it. Okay, so figure A first is important, that is already 4-link mechanism which will be there. Then from there each link you have to separately draw the free body diagrams. So you can see figure B, C and D is separately drawn. Then various forces acting on each member are also shown there, and as the mechanism is in static equilibrium, each of its members must be in equilibrium. Okay, so that is the assumption when the condition is satisfied for the static equilibrium. So now one by one you can see member 4, it is acted by the 3 forces there, that is here F, which is the external force already given in the question, that is F, along with that F34 and then F14, that is for figure D, you can understand. Then member 3 is acted upon by the 2 forces, that is F23 and then F43. Then member 2 is acted upon by the 2 forces, that is F32 and then F12 and a torque which is there. And initially the direction and the sense of some of the forces may not be considered, and link 3 is a 2 force member, and for its equilibrium actually F23 and F43 must act along BC, and thus F34 being equal and opposite to F43, that also acts along the BC. Okay, so whenever the free body diagram for any mechanism is to be drawn like this, you have to draw. Okay, so this is regarding the free body diagram.